Welcome everyone to part 1 of sharing the secrets of the Shema. If any of you know this prayer, you'll know it's the most important prayer in all of Judaism. It's a 6-word code, essentially, that people say whenever they wake up, before they go to bed, in the middle of the day while they're praying. Sometimes people say it when they see something beautiful, like a nice scenery, or if they're in an emergency situation. This is the go-to prayer. Every Jew uses this prayer. So there's so many secrets compact within this 6-word prayer, so many hidden codes and messages, that it's actually unbelievable. So here we're going to go through the Kabbalistic insight of the Shema. We learned that there are a lot of secrets in the Shema. There's first of all 3 portions. There's the Shema itself, the Vayim Shemoah, and the Vayomer. Next, we have that Baruch Shem Kavod is not actually from the Torah. Baruch Shem Kavod came from Moses. He brought it down from the angels in order for us to use. And on Yom Kippur, we're able to not whisper it. We're able to say it loudly. Not only we're able to, we should say it loudly, because Yom Kippur is a very, very holy day. That's why we wear white. That's why we fast. And so our souls can handle the immense amount of light coming from Baruch Shem Kavod. Also, Shema is a meditation. You should be thinking that you are willing to sacrifice everything that you have in order to sanctify Hashem's name and become one with Hashem. And also that you are accepting the yoke of the kingdom of heaven. How do we know that? Because Shema is Shin, Mem, Ayin. Spelled backwards is Ayin, Mem, Shin. Ol, Malchut, Shemayim. Ayin, Ol, Mem, Malchut, Shin, Shemayim. Ol, Malchut, Shemayim. We all know that statement very, very prominently in Judaism. We talk about accepting the yoke of heaven. It's written right there in the Shema. Next is, if you go from in order, Shin, Mem, Ayin, you have Shacharit, Mincha, Arvit. Shin, Shacharit, Mem, Mincha, Ayin, Arvit. Those are the 3 prayers that every Jew must pray every day, 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, and evening. Next, there are 3 sizes to every letter in the Torah. You have letters that are minimized, letters that are regular sized, and letters that are maximized. You have small, normal, and enlarged letters in the Torah. And for each one that's minimized or maximized, there are secrets there. In the Shema, there's 2 letters that are maximized. They are enlarged. The first one is the last letter of the first word, which is Shema, which is Ayin. And the second one is the last letter of the entire prayer, which is Dalid in Echad. So you have Shema, the Ayin is enlarged, and in Echad, the Dalid is enlarged. Remember, the Shema goes like this. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Eloheinu, Hashem Echad. The Ayin and Dalid are both enlarged. Ed. Ayin, Dalid spells Ed. Ed means witness. From here we understand that whenever we are saying this prayer, we are testifying as a witness to the oneness of Hashem. That's essentially what we are doing. Now, also, when you say Echad, it's first of all, how do you spell Echad? Aleph, Chet, Dalid, right? The Aleph gematria is 1, and the word Aleph comes from Aluf, which means the master of the universe. So we know that we have 1 master of the universe. The Chet gematria is 8, which when you add are 1 earth plus the 7 heavens. We know there are 7 levels to heaven. That is also 8. Dalid gematria is 4, which refers to the 4 directions, north, south, east, west, or the 4 corners of the world, as it's mentioned in many of our Jewish concepts, 4 corners of the world. Now, also, in the Shema, we discuss 4 things: the oneness of God, our love for God, that we're going to do Torah study and listen to the mitzvot. We say the oneness of God in the Shema itself, love for God in the Ve'ahavta, Torah study and mitzvot in Ve'ahavta, Vayim Shemoah, and Vayomer. So comprised totally in all 3 of these portions, we talk about the oneness of God, our love for God, Torah study, and mitzvot. Let's continue. Now in the Shema, we say Hashem's name twice. We're talking here about machshava and dibur, the thoughts of Hashem and the speech of Hashem. Now we need to know that Vayomer Elokim, the phrase Vayomer Elokim, which means God spoke, appears in the first book of the 5 books of Moses 10 times. 10 times it says God spoke. Now, each of these times that God speaks refers to the creation of one of the sfirot. We know we have 10 dimensions, 10 spiritual levels. Each word that he spoke, or each phrase that he spoke, created a spiritual level. The machshava and dibur, the thoughts and words, or speech of Hashem, the speech reveals certain energies. We just got that down. Now, when man speaks, when human beings speak, our word becomes completely detached from us, right? The words, we have no control over the words after they have been spoken, right? However, when Hashem speaks, his words are always attached to the source. Now, we know that when we say over here, our words don't compare to the thoughts in our head. The words that we say don't accurately depict the thoughts in our head. We can't fully relay the thoughts in our head in the way that we truly intend for them to be understood through our words. Now, thoughts are like the garments of the soul. The thoughts themselves are like the expression of the soul. The soul is like the engine or the hardware of the thoughts in a man's mind. Now, the same way that our thoughts are concealed from other human beings, right? You can't know what I'm thinking right now. My thoughts are concealed from you. My words are revealed. So too with Hashem, the thoughts of Hashem, the way the mind of God is concealed, but the words of Hashem, meaning the 10 sfirot, are revealed to us. Now, there is no way to define the essence of the Creator. There is no way. That's basically saying that we have no way of knowing the mind of the Creator, which is why the mind of the Creator is concealed, the same way the mind of man is concealed. Now, the connection between physical to spiritual, meaning right now we live in a duality with a physical body and a spiritual soul living in unity. Now, the way that is possible is when the most physical element of spirituality meshes with the most spiritual element of physicality. So take the least physical thing and connect to the least spiritual thing. Those two are the closest to each other, closest relatability, and that's how they connect, through those two gateways. What's an example of that? Whenever you smell something, you might be reminded of a memory. So the memory is like a spiritual thing, the least spiritual thing, and the smell is like the least physical thing. Another thing is writing, because writing is a physical thing, and we connect to our intellect through writing. Our intellect is the least spiritual thing in this example, and writing is the least physical thing. So we're writing something physical to connect to something spiritual, which is our intellect. Now, the word Echad, which is, by the way, the last word of the Shema, is coming from the word Achdut. Achdut means unity. Now, in Hebrew, we have a verse. It says, "You are one, but you are not numerous." So when we're talking about unity, we're not talking about one. We're talking about oneness. We're talking about unity. So there's no number one. Echad doesn't mean like Echad, Shtaim, Shalosh. Echad in this context is referring to complete unity. So we know that in Ve'ahavta we promise that we say that we should love Hashem, right? But love is an emotion. So how can you command someone to love something? It's basically forcing them, saying you have to have this emotion. Well, how can you force an emotion, right? We also know that it's a mitzvah to love Hashem. We also know it's a mitzvah. Now, when we say it's a mitzvah, it's a commandment. It's commanding you to love Hashem. Again, how do you command someone to have an emotion? Now, in Hebrew, ve'ahavta can not only be interpreted as you should love, but it could also be interpreted as you will love. So in a certain sense, when we say ve'ahavta, it's not always saying that we currently love Hashem, because how many of us can truly say that we love Hashem? Not many. We can also take it as we will love Hashem. You have to have fear for God, respect for God. We don't even have those. So how can we have love, which is the ultimate? Okay, so that's been it for today. I'll see you in part 3 of teaching the secrets of the Shema. Bye for now.